Hi kids, Mrs. Lunsford here. I'm just here to start you on a new project. We're starting at day one, first graders, day one. And on day one, we're going to concentrate on crayon and color. Crayon and lots of color. Okay, we're going to start a new project, everyone. And you're going to need some really special things first. We're going to need rocks, water, crayons, and paper. And we're going to use all of those things on day one. You'll need a black crayon to start. And we're going to make something that looks like these. But first we'll need to start with just a simple black spot on our paper. Let me show you how the stones or the pebbles or the rocks actually come into play.
The first thing that we need are 5 stones. Okay, here are those same rocks that I showed you just a second ago. Notice that each one has a different shape and a different size, although they are all kind of similar in color. They're all kind of dark. I'm going to use these to demonstrate to you how we can symbolically and figuratively make a splash in art. What that means is you are going to be able to make a splash literally with this water, and then your art is going to make a splash with color and beautiful painting with your watercolors. So I'm going to take some of these rocks and I'm going to put them into our bowl here. It's blue, so it kind of matches the color of a pool or water that you see. It kind of looks like water in Cancun. And I'm going to take one of these rocks and I'm actually going to throw it into the water, and I want you to see what happens. Sploosh! So the water goes everywhere. It created a bubble and it created ripples on the water surface. This rock is a little flatter. Let's see what happens with this one. Little bit different kind of ripple effect. Let's try the second biggest rock. And I dropped that one a little bit closer. See all the splooshing and all the ripples? Small pebble. And finally, let's get our biggest rock. And I dropped that one in nice and close. See all the reflection on the water and the ripples that those rocks create? It's a pretty cool effect. We're going to try to duplicate this effect in our first lesson today. For today's lesson, you'll need a black crayon, white paper, and then later on you'll need some other colors of crayons. But we'll get into that in just a second. Start with your white paper and your black crayon. The first thing you'll need to do is create a pebble on your paper. Okay, so think of those 5 pebbles that we had earlier. And you need to draw a pebble on your paper. Start out with a small pebble, and you can place it anywhere on the paper you like. Something like that. And don't make your pebble too perfect, because stones and pebbles are usually have an irregular shape, which means they're not perfect circles. They're definitely not perfect shapes. So make it kind of look like a real stone. Make it not scribbly, make it neat, but don't make it perfect. You'll need to repeat that process 5 times. So you'll need to have 5 pebbles. It's really nice if you can make them different sizes. So try to make 5 different pebbles and place them all different spots all over your paper. So remember, variety is a great thing in artwork. 5 different pebbles on 5 different places all over your paper, 5 different sizes. Try it. Go now. And there are 5 pebbles. Okay, class. Next thing you need to do is pick out some crayons. I would like you to start by picking out some warm colored crayons. First, grab a crayon in a warm color that you like. Any warm color will do. If you've picked out a color similar to any of these, then you're on the right track. Remember, warm colors are the colors that are like fire colors, hot colors. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to start with this kind of reddish orange. And I'm going to add that to my pebble. Remember the ripples that we saw in the water when we threw the stones or the pebbles into the water? We want to try to recreate that in art. So I'm going to draw just kind of a wiggly, waggly, kind of cool, fun line around my pebble. Something that reminds me of water and the way that it ripples out around the pebble when it splashes and splooshes into the water. Great. And now I'm going to take another warm color, any other warm color that you like, you can follow along, and I'm going to go right around that same shape, because I don't know if you noticed that when you threw the stone into the water, it made ripples that came out and out and out. So I want to recreate that effect in my artwork. It's sort of reminding me of a flower a little bit right now. Okay, so I'm going to pick another warm color. This time I'm going to go with the yellow, and I'm going to go around again. Notice that it's getting bigger and bigger as I work. Okay, now if I would like, I could create an ABC type of pattern, and I would like to do that now. So I have orange, I have red, and I have yellow. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to go back to the color that I started with, which is orange. And that's going to be the A in my pattern. Orange will be the first color, red will be the next color, and yellow will be the next color after that. And I'll keep repeating this pattern. As I branch this out and keep making it bigger and bigger, what's going to happen is I want to start to press less hard with my crayon as I go. So when I start out, I'm actually going to press pretty hard. So this first orange one, I pressed hard, and in fact I can even go back over it again to press it harder into that paper, because the ripples that are closest to the stone have the greatest impact, and so those ones are kind of the biggest, thickest lines. Okay, now I'm going to keep rippling this out and rippling this out until it's nice and big, and I'm going to show you the magic of artwork. There it is, really giant. Okay, and as I worked, I faded my lines out just a little bit as I went. Okay, so now that I have my warm or my hot colors over in this corner, in the opposite corner of my artwork, I want to create an effect with cool colors. Okay, and so here I started with some cool colors. I have purples, I have a green, and I have blue. I can make any kind of ripples coming out of my stones that I would like. So that's what's going to make my artwork different from yours and yours different from mine. That's the really, really fun part. Something like this is what you should end up with. And what's going to happen is you notice that here the ripples actually go right over top of each other. And that's what would really happen if you were to throw pebbles into the water all at once at the same time. So I want you to overlap your rippling on your paper. It's going to make a really, really cool effect when we go to paint this. Also keep in mind that you want to fade your lines out as you get farther away from your pebble. So the lines that are the farthest away from your pebble, like out here, notice how it starts to get faded. It's a lighter color blue than it is here, although I did that simply by pressing harder with my crayon here and lighter here. So it's not two different colors of crayon. Okay, once you have all 5 pebbles rippled and the ripples overlap, then we're ready for the next portion of our project. This should probably take you about the rest of this class period, and so we will start our painting during our next class.